Hello, Arun, and to the Tax Sutra team and to all the Tax Sutra listeners. We are looking at an interesting budget in a difficult time. It, on the first glance, looks good, and even when you go deep, it looks good. Looks good because there are no new taxes, no cess on long-term capital gains, no changes in dividend taxation, and so on. And something which one has been asking for, namely consistency in tax matters. But in a difficult year where you have a fiscal deficit of 9.5% and where you have 6.8% next year, actually through inflation, you will levy a tax and it will be a regressive tax. That's the unfortunate truth of this budget, but that's one thing which we will have to accept. Other than that, I think it's creating a great philosophy in terms of the various policy initiatives, whether it is in healthcare, whether in infrastructure, whether in various other fields. And I think that's one of the greatest parts of this budget, if the government can use its money efficiently. On taxation, the fine print has a lot of tinkering, whether it is Section 45, Section 147, goodwill, depreciation, and on each of them, there will be a number of issues which will come up. No section can be drafted so cleanly, so clearly that it will not raise drafting issues, uncertainty issues, and all that. So you will have those questions coming up. What happens when on a dissolution of a partnership, you give some asset, but it is equal to the value of the business, more than the value of the business, less than the value of business? All these questions for each of these new sections, they are going to come up. But that's what courts are for. And in the next few years, I think we will have those interpretations. We will understand what they mean, and we will be able to resolve them. So, yeah, unfortunately, there is very little fine print or clarifications which are pro-assessee. Most of the clarifications in the fine print are bound to be, are expected to be, and are actually pro the department. But other than that, you do have the normal list of all these small tinkering. And that's the part which we didn't work, which one does not like. So just as you have stability in tax rates, you need stability in these areas. And these areas should be amended only by a Taxation Laws Amendment Act, which goes through a select committee, which goes through a much more robust process. Because then the type of technical questions which I just spoke of on each of these sections would not really arise. And I wish the government were to shift to that discipline for all the other amendments, leaving out the main amendments in tax rates and things like that, which also one would leave and be stable as far as possible. But subject to these few things, I think one of the greatest budgets one is looking for. Yeah.
Gautam bhai, you said you did not want to see a plethora of amendments. You are also one among the as a chairman of advisory board, you cannot be batting for less of tax sutra. So more of tax sutra means more amendments. So we are happy. But jokes apart, Gautam bhai, when you say that we could have done without so many amendments, any particular amendment or a few which you did not want, which you thought could have been avoided?
No. Yeah, but for example, take the depreciation on goodwill. That clause allows depreciation on trademarks, licenses, franchises, amongst others. Now you say it does not allow on goodwill. Imagine a valuer trying to break up the value of a goodwill between the trademark, the license, the franchise, and the rest of the goodwill. Is it really practically possible to apportion what you would call the difference between the value of the tangible assets and the value of the business as a whole? and then to break it up between these four. And if you allow trademarks, licenses, and franchises, why not goodwill? Especially when even the Supreme Court considered it, and you accept that they considered it to be a depreciable asset of the same class as the others. So there is no reason for it.
Yeah. Gautam, two or three things I've asked quite a few of the stalwarts. I will ask you as well. One, reopening of assessment 6 to 3. You think it is tinkering on the edges, or you think it's a major one?
No, I think it's a major one. I mean, ultimately it makes not so much difference, but it is a major one. It shows government's intention to give finality to the assessments when they happen. So I think it's a major one. The finality concept is coming in.
Yeah, AR doing away with, good or bad?
Bad, because what you're really doing is you're taking away from the judiciary or a judicial power and making it a departmental power by bringing in the board of this advanced rulings. We have seen how it works. The example in GST is in front of us, where you have advanced rulings from departmental officers. And you know that a departmental officer is not capable of taking a broad-minded view. He has various other concerns which trouble him when he is giving an advance ruling. A judiciary or a judicial officer stands on a different footing. I mean, I don't see why you could not have expanded the judicial frame by bringing in 30 branches of the advanced ruling authority and parts everywhere, rather than giving it away to some commissioners of income tax, however broad-minded you expect them to be, because they cannot be by nature.
Gautam, by faceless ITAT, are we ready?
I think it's a bit too soon. Yes, ultimately it is good, but as you said, are we ready? We are still learning with faceless assessments. Faceless appeals itself, I thought, was difficult, but faceless ITAT is going to be a little much more difficult. But ultimately, you have to meet somebody somewhere. In the High Court, you will still meet a judge. Also, till, and I don't think the budget will be able to take away the power from the High Courts.
Absolutely. That was Gautam Doshi, one of the most eminent tax experts of India. Thanks so much, Gautam Bhai, for sparing your time. Thanks.
Thank you, Arun. Thank you.